Welcome back to Dr. Skull Gaming. I am here with another Karpov masterpiece. We are working from Karpov Strategic Wins 1, The Making of a Champion. This is game number 36. It's Howard Williams versus Anatoly Karpov. I gotta say, Howard Williams just sounds like random American dude. Like, I've never heard of Howard Williams, the chess player. So that's very interesting to me. This is one of my favorite things about this book. Like, I got to know all of Fischer's main opponents. I have not heard of tons of Karpov's opponents. All right, so here we go. Karpov is the black pieces. Howard Williams is the white. And Howard starts with some d4. What I found especially interesting about this book is I expected it to be all d4 games, because that's how I think of Karpov. But in these early years, he was like almost exclusively e4, which is really interesting. Or at least the games chosen for this book were almost all e4. And Noir Viking, wow. Thanks so much for the sub. 7 months? Like, that's a lot, man. That's a lot. I appreciate it, but that's a lot. Okay. So Karpov decides to play knight f6. Kind of a standard c4. Where are we going to go here? e6. Just kind of putting some opening moves on the board here. I assume knight c3. That just seems pretty normal here. Yeah, for some reason the Lichess book has knight f3 as slightly more common. I don't know. I don't know all the d4 different sort of like different switches and stuff that can happen, but knight c3 just seemed right. I guess the reason is because it walks into the Nimzo, and if you go knight f3 first, it doesn't. All right, so we've got a Nimzo Indian. I know that much. I know like nothing about the Nimzo, so I'm really kind of excited to see some more games with the Nimzo, because it seems like a fun response is black, and my response is black is pretty lame and boring. Okay. Okay, interesting. So he's gonna come back and be like, "You want to pin me? I'll pin you." I don't know, what is this? The double Nimzo? So the note here is, in a way, it's not a bad decision to play a sideline against a top player who may not be used to facing sidelines. On the other hand, Karpov had just played a match against Spassky, who often played this variation. So, yeah, interesting. If your goal of playing the sideline was to fool or take advantage of Karpov's hole in his knowledge, the fact that he just played a bunch of games against it probably doesn't work. All right, so let's see. Let's start getting down to some business here. What are we going to do here? Seems like this is a candidate move. Just kick it away. Another fine candidate move just seems to be castling. The Lichess book says castling is just devastation, and that white wins 74% of the time. That's just shocking. I don't know. It feels like we could also ignore it just by developing this knight. I don't know. The most common move by a million times over is just h6. So let's see. h6 is played. Let's see what happens if we just castle and be like, you got nothing. How does this play out? I'm just going to play the top Lichess moves just to kind of get here. Okay, I thought it was going to be like an immediate devastating attack. It is not. It's just, we're just going to play chess, and it's better for white. Okay. I don't even know what to say about that. Oh, but the funny thing is, in this variation, it says that if white goes here, black wins almost every game. So I don't even know what to say, but we play h6 here. I have to assume we're not taking. It feels to me like bishop h4 is good, because if black decides to push g5, that feels pretty weakening. It feels to me like black wants to castle short, and that would be incredibly weakening. So I think we go back to h4, trying to provoke that, or if nothing else, just knowing it's probably not coming. And our bishop gets to just sit here and continue with the pin, which is the whole point of what we're doing. All right, black's move. Does black take here now? I have no idea when black is supposed to take here and not take here. I guess there's no rush to take here, although it seems like... So this is what I don't quite understand about the Nimzo, right? Like, white at any point can just go here and defend this guy so that the pawns don't get doubled. But I guess, like, the rook being able to take this open file is worth the doubled pawns. It's just one of these structures I haven't really studied yet. So let's see. I mean, castling seems fine here. Knight out seems fine. I suppose c5 Contesting the center seems fine. Lots of stuff seems fine right now to me. All right, he does play c5. Okay. What does white do here? I don't think white takes. That does not look great to me. We give up our center pawn for no reason. Black just takes back. Black's on a decent diagonal. Like, this looks pretty good for black. So I feel like white's options are kind of like go here with a knight to support the pawn even more. I guess you don't even need to, right? 'Cause it's already backed up. Or push and sort of disrupt this pawn. I think I like this a lot better, right? If we push and they take, and then we take back, suddenly we've traded a side pawn for a center pawn. We're doing pretty good. If they don't take and they push by, I think we're really happy with that, right? There's no pawn to contest this pawn. Now it's just controlling these spots. That seems super strong. I feel like black is pretty much forced to take here. Let's see. Okay, so it's d5. I guess not forced to take here, right? We could just, like, this doesn't look that great. But this looks super weird to me. This is a move. Let me double check because it looks really weird. This looks strange. I guess not. Okay, I guess not. I was thinking if we take, then they have to take with the f-pawn, but clearly they don't. They can just take with this light squared bishop. And it looks a little weird to me, like there's just this backwards pawn on a half-open file that can very easily be piled up upon. Maybe the theory is it would be pretty easy to just push it one more square when needed. Maybe push another square and get a nice attack on the pin piece. I don't know. But yeah, whatever the case is, he just plays d6. All right, white goes e3. Again, not taking, so this is just going to hang here for a bit. Again, I don't know the theory very well for the Nimzo, and just like looking at it as a chess player, I'm like, well, okay. Like, I guess we could go here and here or something. We could go like maybe even here, maybe not yet there, but like the idea of getting this bishop out somewhere. I don't love black's coordination here. Black could certainly castle. Could go here still. No, I still don't love that. It just feels pretty good. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure what black does here. I think if it was my game, I would probably just castle and move on with my life and feel pretty good about it. Okay, so now he does take the knight. I have to assume we're taking back. Any other move seems ludicrous. Unless there's some cool tactic. Black's move once more. Now we've got some disruption here with the pawns. I'm not really sure what the theory is again on like how we take advantage of it. I would probably just castle here. That just seems fine. Black is going to push by here. Seems very weird to me. But I guess the point is like now something like this just seems a lot worse. Because this comes in right after it, and now this doubled pawn is no longer doubled. I don't think black wants to push here, and like, well, I guess first of all, it just hangs. But even if it didn't hang, separating the pawns like this seems kind of weird. So yeah, I guess it makes sense. Just push by. This is now a weakness. Will we be able to exploit it? I'm just looking at like, how does black develop? I guess also it does allow this bishop to come out. And where does this knight go now? Maybe the knight just comes around here and even to here to threaten this pawn. I don't know. Seems like we got some stuff happening as black. White's move. I mean, we have two undeveloped pieces next to the king. It just seems like without having any idea what I'm supposed to play here, I feel like the game is shouting at me to do something like this. Problem is it would maybe be met by this. Is that a good thing? Like we go back, and then this guy is disconnected from the pawns. We could also develop the knight to here, which might provoke that, which once again, it's kind of like, okay, I'll go here. And that might be totally fine. We're hitting this pawn a bunch. I don't know. I want to develop one of these too. That's the bottom line. If this is my game, I'm probably just going here. That just seems reasonable to me. All right, move 9. Okay, that's what he does. So I guess the question is e4 worth it? It feels so interesting to me. Like, it's such a big moment, right? Like, it might not feel like it, but it's such a permanent move to be like, I'm going to go here. I'm going to take the defender away from it. It's going to gain the space. It's going to be a really nice pawn to give me some outposts, maybe even. Like, what if I could stick a knight here? But it's also a target, right? The bishop steps back. And suddenly this guy is a target here. Feels like it can be pretty easily defended, maybe? Like, if it's here, bishop slides back. And then even here, it's defended twice. So, like, something like this can't win the pawn. I don't think I would push it in my game. I just don't. I think I would castle and think of this as like a move I have in my pocket when I'm a little more confident that I can easily hold on to it. It's hard though, because like actual concrete calculations, I'm not sure if this would fall. So it's like here. We can go here and here to hit it again. We can go here to hit it a third time. And the problem is to go here to defend it, this knight would have to move. This guy is here. How does this knight help it? Yeah. I mean, I guess it does have this square, though, which would be really nice after moving it. So maybe that's the reason, right? If nothing else, we free up actually e5 for our own piece, which is then hitting one of the weaknesses in White's camp. So now, like, this just feels like a big moment to me. But I'm balancing all these different ideas here. Like, this push controls all the space and gives a square for the knight, but is vulnerable. The trade-offs of chess, right? I guess we go for it since it gives the knight e5. That's my final thought. All right. There is e4, no note. Just like, obviously good move. Okay. Clearly he's got to move back. And this seems like the natural follow-up, not what black does. Black plays here. And I wonder if the point of this is that, yes, it weakens the king, but how are you going to come get the king? Like, things look pretty well managed here. After the bishop goes here, what is White going to do? Is White going to try, like, some attack along here? Maybe we could just push. Yeah, I don't know. All right, let's make sure that that's what happens. Yeah, okay, so 11 g3. Or bishop g3, that is. And black, I don't know. This still feels like the move. Instead, queen e7. I don't really get queen e7. Is the point of queen e7 that we can castle? I just don't even understand this move. Or is it just simply we're adding... Okay, so I guess I understand it more. We're defending the e4 pawn again, and we're giving ourselves the chance to castle, or at least connect the rooks by moving the queen off. So I guess that makes sense. Not the move I would have made there. Oh, wow. And White does say, like, okay, you're going to push g5? Let's do it now. Like, we're gonna open this thing up. If I was playing against Karpov, I think I would assume this is not going to work unless I had a really, really concrete line in mind. I feel like g4 followed by h5 pretty much nips this whole thing in the bud. Also really restricting this knight, but after here, boom, boom. Maybe we have a nice way to get involved. It feels like this is the move, though. Almost feels like that has to be the move. Keeping it a little bit closed down. Nope. He says, okay, you want to open it? Let's open it. Let's do it. Let's just open this file. What's the difference? I'm not castled over here. I've moved my queen. I can easily just go like I don't know. Boom, boom, boom. Let's do it. I'll just castle long if I need to. Though castling long doesn't seem great here either because suddenly this open file seems a little bit better. So maybe just like don't need a castle. What if I just end up with my king here, not even worried? That seems like a possibility. All right, so he's on the open file. Does white take it? That's really the ultimate question. Seems to me like yes. That kind of seems to be the whole point of what we're doing here. Okay. Yep. I guess the question here is which way to take back. I guess it's not a question, right? Because if we take back with the rook, this pawn hangs. So we'll take it that way, unless there's some tactic. Okay. Developing the piece finally. That's nice. Though, where is he going? I feel like I was about to say this, but it is covered by the bishop. I'm not entirely sure what's happening here. I'm not really sure what's happening here for both sides. This looks like a very weird game compared to the games I'm used to. Like this pawn structure is wacky. There's a B file here. This king's in the center. This king's in the center. Like, what is even happening here? And what I'm not sure of is this wacky for a Nimzo or not. Like, maybe this isn't wacky at all, and a Nimzo player would be like, "Hello, this is just called normal." All right. Well, we're finally gonna get this knight out, possibly going here. I don't know. Are we castling at all? I feel like we're not castling short. If we're not castling short, what are we doing with its queen? And that I'm not sure. It's like here. I mean, we need to move the queen if we want to get this king castled. Okay. And maybe we don't. Like, because again, I have a feeling king might just go here. And then the rooks are connected. This king might end up here. Rooks are connected. And no castling necessary, right? The middle's pretty closed off. All the action's on the flanks. Why am I going to put my king on a flank where the action is? That just doesn't make sense to me. Okay. Black. How are we getting this bishop out? I mean, this is not a real threat, so that's fine. But something like this, I guess this and this and this, that looks pretty promising to me. So I think I might be tempted to play b6 to just finally develop that bishop. D8. King D8. Weird. What? I do not understand this move even a little. My theory is king is going to go here to defend this pawn. But why? Why not just push the pawn and bring the bishop out? Let's actually go back. What does the computer think? This to me seems like the move. Like a quite obvious move. All right, the computer does like it. Computer says that is its second best move, but it's still pretty darn equal. Its favorite move is to move the king this way, which also seems bizarre to me. According to the Lichess database, the most common moves are king d8, king f8, and knight to b6, hitting this square. So, there we go. That's what the engine in the data tells us, which doesn't tell me much. Again, why the computer isn't always the most useful source. All right, whatever. We're moving here. I don't understand. There's not a note to tell. Oh, there is a tiny note. This is an exclam move, and it says it was a novelty at the time, although it was well known that the king tends to be safe on c7. Okay, that does make sense. That's what I said. It looks like if we're going to go here, that must be the square we're targeting. So, okay. A4 question mark. I mean, does look like a weird move to me. Like, what exactly is A4 doing? I guess if I want to go B6 and then immediately push A5, that does seem problematic. King isn't super safe. Not that worried, but I don't know. It does allow us to rip apart this queen side with the move. So does that mean we're compelled to play A5 to stop A5? I don't love that because then this is a backwards pawn. B6 doesn't look as good, though. With the king there, it is protected. I don't know. I guess a5 just kind of feels like the you play a4, I'll play a5 response. The move. Okay. So yeah. So the point. Oh, okay. There's a deeper point here. I missed the secondary point of this. So not only are we paralyzing this push, which is often the point of this, but look at this bishop. Like, if white could get one more move in and send this pawn here, and suddenly this bishop gets to go here, supported by the rook, boy, that's a better square than this square, right? Like, this square, this bishop's doing nothing. If we get the bishop to a4, suddenly that's a pretty reasonable bishop. So, okay. So a5 seems to be a pretty important move. White is going to go rook a2. Okay. I imagine the point is to go here. And then we're doubled on this file. It's a backwards pawn. It is fine. It's totally protected. But what else is this rook doing? It's so hard for me because just the game plans in this position are so weird. I'm not even sure what we're doing. I'm a little bit tempted to go here. But then there's part of me wondering, like, are the knights just better than this bishop? Like, what is this bishop even doing? It's kind of trashy. Okay. So let's see. Black just first moves here to secure this pawn a little bit more. And white plays rook to h6. Okay. I mean, it makes sense that we're doing something with this rook, but I'm a little bit torn on this. I kind of thought our whole point here was going to be something like here, this guy coming over to h1, but by moving him to a2, seemingly to compete for the b file, this suddenly rook h6, it just seems like plans that don't gel together very well. So I'm not quite sure I understand rook h6 after the rook h2. It says that white wants to pin the knight, but black's inconvenience is only temporary. Yeah, I mean, it is pinned, I guess. I mean, not really, right? No, yeah, it is pinned. Okay. Because if they take, we certainly can't take that way. So yes, it is pinned. Let's look at some candidate moves here. This is certainly a candidate move. I don't think it's a good move. It leaves us with an awkward pawn structure. We don't really get anything from it. We could go here. Not entirely sure what that does. I guess that allows us to go rook g6 if we really want. We could go here with the idea of going here. I think we're going to do that at some point. Not sure if this is the best point. I think I might go b6 here. Okay. He goes rook a6. Breaking the pin. This pawn is now backed up by enough pieces. We're good. Okay, I guess that makes sense. Like, what was this rook doing back here? Nothing. I would have, like, if this was my game, this would have been my thought. We're going b6. We're going here. We've got the rooks connected. Maybe I'm here. Maybe here. Here. And suddenly I have this file to myself. I think that's what I would have gone for. And in fact, I might have even tunnel visioned into that and like really overlooked a lot of other stuff my opponent was doing. But I think that's probably the route I would have gone. Let's see what the computer says about this plan. Is it just completely flawed? No, not really. Wait, we'll go here, here. King moves up to connect. We go here. Look at this. This is basically everything I said, and the computer likes it quite a bit. Because we get the A file. So, yeah, my plan seems very reasonable. I like that. I like that my plan is reasonable. Whether it's the best plan, I don't know, but it's a very reasonable plan. Black has a big edge in that plan. That feels good. Especially after in my recent games where I've done stuff like go for the open file, like too single-mindedly, just to the detriment of my whole game. My coach is kind of like, what is happening here? All right, so this bishop, or this queen is getting involved a little bit more. I don't know. This feels like a weird move to me. It kind of feels like we are like really committing the queen, especially if we end up coming in behind with the rook. But to what end? This pawn is totally covered. I don't see anything tactically interesting here. Nothing else at any moment. B6 can be played. I guess not. I guess if B6 is played, the queen can just leap into here, and then maybe things are bad. King does have an escape square, so things are probably fine. But that just looks like a weird move to me. I'm not a fan of it. I don't quite see what it does, and I see a lot of downsides for it. There's not a question mark or anything, so that's fine. Goes here. It says Karpov is not lazy and takes the time to bring his king to the safest possible location. All right. This makes sense as a follow-up. And where's the safest location? It's got to be here, right? Get it out of the way of this queen. Interesting plan is, what about this? This kind of feels like it wins. Let me look at this for a second. So if we go here, where's the queen going? The queen has this square, which loses the queen. The queen has this square, which gives up an entire rook. The queen is not threatening much. What? How is this not winning? So it seems like the only move is takes, giving up the queen for a rook and a knight, giving them a pretty decently placed rook, but then we can just go in here. This rook has to like come back around, so like everything's disconnected. That just feels like a really strong move to me. I feel like I must be missing something because it just seems really good. Let's see. Karpov continues making the king safer. It says black should avoid the temptation to win the queen with rook b6, which turns out badly. Okay. After this. What? All right, so they're up a knight. What? Bishop takes. Rook takes. When the D6 pawn is weak. True. I guess it's weak and being attacked twice. And there's no way to back it up. The only way would be here, which lets another attacker come in. So that's sort of fascinating. I think I still disagree. So let's see what the computer says. Computer says best move is king a7, which is negative 2.8, and that this move is only negative 1.8. Let's see what happens when we go a little farther. Here. Okay. So it says that black is up 2. So we can call this a mistake if we want, but I think we're good here. I would be pretty happy with this position, thinking I've traded down, the pieces are awkwardly placed. But here we go. We're going to first get safe. We still have this option if we want it. The queen probably seeing this possibility and deciding to get out of there. Comes back to here. And he says retreating the queen loses time and allows black to exchange the rooks. Okay. Oh, yeah, this is... Okay. Yeah, I mean, now this seems quite strong because he's also guarding this spot. So the queen is going to have to move. If takes, queen takes. Queen is here. How is that? I'm a bit unclear on how exchanging the rooks here is good for black. I don't know. That part I'm less clear on. Okay. Oh, he doesn't go there. He's got a better move. He goes here, hitting this rook, hitting this. Any of those matter. Also hitting this. I think that's the reason. Because now, if takes, the other one comes in. So my guess is this is going to be the final resting spot. Goes back. Nope. F5. Okay. F5. Are we actually threatening this? It looks like no. Takes, takes, takes. Does not seem great. So I don't think f4 is being pushed. I kind of want to get the king out of here and like at least get something going. King d1. What? King d1. What does that do for us? Fact, isn't that horrible? Like push, takes, 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 fork. Push. Move bishop here. Goes here. Hitting the pin piece a second time. Ah, this looks destructive to me. This is not what black does. Black now plays the rook over with an exclam. I want to see my move. What's wrong with it? Oh, it is the second best move. Okay. So it's not bad. Go here. Oh, right. Okay. That was kind of foolish. I forgot they could just take with the knight. And then we're still going to go here. But maybe even here first. That's really interesting. They're not taking this pawn. I guess if you take the pawn, it does look a little dangerous. Like, can we just come in here, start wreaking havoc? It looks like it. Okay. So I missed that. I missed that this square was not just being covered by him, but covered with the knight. Which is a really bad miss. Like, I would assume in a game I wouldn't miss that. That's a little bit embarrassing. Like, that's pretty basic stuff. All right. Rook attacks. Queen's got to go away. By the way, it says the black's up 5.5 right now. That's pretty amazing. Queen comes back to here. To a2. Rook takes. Queen takes. I don't quite understand why that rook exchange is good for black. Like, philosophically, I don't understand. Unless it's just the b pawn is more powerful. So it says, suddenly the c4 pawn comes under fire. Soon it becomes clear that black is simply winning. Okay, so I guess maybe the point is just to get some of these pieces out of the way so we can do what I said we wanted to do all along, which is like crushing this pawn. And this is the weakness that's been there for the whole game. So my guess is that's why that trade was so useful. I don't think I would have seen that though. All right, going here to back up the pawn. Going here to attack the pawn. Going here to do what? Don't understand that. What is that doing? Has to be a relocation of this knight, but to where? Here does nothing. Here is obviously lost. I don't get this move. There's no notes for it. So what does the engine say? The engine does not have it in its top 4. The engine does not like it. Okay. Well, the engine doesn't like it. Okay. So I was right. We're coming in here. This does seem like the better knight to do it with if we can get away with it. But I guess what I was nervous about was something like this. But I guess that doesn't work, right? Because then we would go takes, and take here. So, I don't know. I guess I was just kind of worried, like, somehow they would be able to do that. But I didn't have a concrete line. And again, that's kind of that, like, worrying about the possibility of something needs to be supported by concrete lines. And I was being super lazy because it wasn't my game. And I was just like, whatever. I think I would want to go with the G knight. But this knight back here is doing nothing, and this one's doing a lot, right? It's putting a lot of pressure on the position, so it makes sense that if we can go with the D knight, that would be the one we would want to go with. All right, white to me just feels like they are utterly falling apart. Can they defend this pawn? Like, can they literally defend this pawn? I guess here, right? Takes. So they can defend it now with that move. I imagine they must. No, because they can also defend with this move. So they go here. Seems like a slightly better placed queen. Now the question is, can we pile up on that pawn again? Really doesn't look like it. It looks This looks like a point in one of my games where I'd be like, dang it. I thought that was my thing. Like, I thought that's how I was going to win the game. And now I don't quite understand. I'm sure Karpov's like, no, I just wanted you to commit all of your resources to there, and now I'm going to hit another weakness. So what are the other weaknesses? So that's clearly a weakness. It's not being guarded at all, but it looks very challenging to attack. Maybe it's something like this. And then this guy can move away and attack it. I'd love to put this guy in a better square. I'm not sure what. Maybe this is viable. Takes. This bishop has to move. Maybe even this. So yeah, I guess these are the three things I'm interested in. I think I would want to calculate f4 a little bit more, but I think f4 works fine. All right, 28. Knight g6. Okay, that is not on my radar. What is going on there? It's clearly not to stick the queen in here. So it's not evacuating that square to be able to have the queen go in. Oh, maybe it's simply defending f4 again. So we really need, I think, to look at f4. So f4 takes. Oh, wow. Yeah, I guess before the bishop would have just taken. Whereas now it's takes. Bishop has to go back. So now white has to resolve this somehow. Can white do something super bizarre looking like this? This looks very dangerous to me. Well, let's see if we can support it with concrete moves. Why does this look dangerous? Is it dangerous? Oh, it doesn't do anything. It's being backed up anyway. Yeah, I wouldn't want to do. I don't know what white does here. White is in such trouble. I don't even know. I'm just gonna say I don't know. If I was white, I would be in the despair land. Totally fine move. That's probably what I would have done. Something like that. We're at least backing up the pawns. And now I think f4 comes and it's kind of game. Nope. Knight f6. Okay, maybe the reason is because if we pushed f4, they could push f3. And then we have to resolve this now. And then they could, like, take or something. I don't know. Still, white can do nothing. And now f4 comes, and this looks pretty devastating. Wow. So much so, his opponent resigns here and is like, yep, f4 wins. Wow. That's a lot to resign there. Let's play it out a little bit. I kind of assume we got to take. Takes. Here. What's the progression here? Is it like this? And takes. No, this doesn't feel winning to me. This feels good. Like, it feels like I certainly have an advantage. Let's see what the computer says. Yeah, the computer says minus 7.8. That no, this isn't just an advantage. You are winning. Okay. So that's the game. We've got the resignation as soon as f4 comes. The recognition that it's over. It is over. All right, let's go ahead and take a look through the game one more time. We're going to run an engine inquiry on it, and then we're going to figure out what are our takeaways. We're going to delete all the moves that didn't actually happen. All right. We don't need to get my moves in the engine analysis. All right, engine analysis. Here we go. And then what seems weird to us? Boy, the nice thing about these games is I'm really learning a lot even about opening theory for these. All right, so white, no blunders, 2 mistakes, 5 inaccuracies, 50%. Karpov, 0 blunders, 0 mistakes, 4 inaccuracies, 93% accuracy. So, very clean game from Karpov, no surprise. Going back to the beginning. I'm just going to kind of flip through these first. So this was a little bit of a rare move. This made sense to go back. C5 fighting for the center right away seemed reasonable to me. D5 seemed good. The D6 move seemed weird in the moment. That seemed very weird to me. But makes sense. We're sort of bottling up this pawn, so it can't move forward more. If it decides to take, we take. I didn't even realize that now they have to deal with this immediate problem. I don't know. This pawn looks a little worrisome to me. But yeah, I don't know. That looks intriguing. All right, black takes, and then this is where like right from here we see like the whole rest of the game. This is a weakness, and now we can't say like, oh well, that's just the Nimzo just beats d4, right? Like that's obviously not true. But I think what we can see is that played well, what black wants to do, or at least one of their plans is going to be to target that pawn. E5 was another move where I was like, feels a little weird to me. But yeah, it looks great. Like the more we got into this game, it seemed like we gained some space. We closed off the position. It's going to be much harder for them to just like go up the gut and win. And this was another move that it felt a little dicey. Like this kind of felt like one of the key moves of the whole game. Let's see, is that an only move there? No, in fact, the computer likes better other moves. But it just feels like such a committal move, right? Whenever you're pushing a pawn like that, there's no going back. It's kind of a weakness, but it's such a strength, and it frees up space. G5 surprised me a bit as well, but it makes sense, right? Before we didn't want to play it because then the king's really airy. Like, look at all these holes around the king that are easily penetrated, but now they're not easily penetrated. E5's clogging everything. The whole middle's clogged. That is not easily invaded. And then H4, that seems like the right play to me, right? Like, what else are you going to do? I'm curious what the computer thinks. Is this a good move? Yeah, okay, that's the engine's number one move. That would have been my move as well. Like, if we've got this move, this seems like the only move. I would have thought G4 was the move. That's what the computer says. It also has Rook G8 as well. But I would have pushed that pawn for sure. Because this just, to me, feels like we just rewarded white. Like, white's whole point in H4 was maybe I'm going to get counterplay down here at some point. Maybe. Probably not, but maybe. And my whole game plan now would have shifted if I was white. I would have been like, boom, boom. I don't know where this queen is going. Just basically line up here and be like, let's do it. This is all we got. Let's try. The whole board is closed off. Let's try to make something happen. But to go this way, I don't know. It just seemed like you're giving something to white, but white was never even really able to take advantage of it. And then this move just seems weird to me. Like, okay, I mean, sure, we're on this half-open file, but to what end? And then I get this surprised me a bit at first because I thought we were going to end up here, but it makes sense that this square would be the strong square to guard this pawn, like the big weakness. Oh yeah, this is another move. Seems weird to me. Let's see what I mean. It's hard because like what else does white have? And that is the computer's number one move is to go here and be losing. not lost, but like at a disadvantage. And then this again, I agree. I think that's fine. The computer says moving the queen up now would have been better. But this feels like exactly what we want to do, except it does feel a little early. Like I think I would rather have this guy back and like really try to exploit it rather than just like what I felt like was really weird is if we look at the next couple of moves, that's like these pieces are so uncoordinated. How could white possibly be better? Like it just seems like it would be impossible. I just can't see a way how we could say white is better here. There's so much discoordination. I can see why black is just up. Black is up 2.2. And the material's dead even, but just like, what are white's pieces even doing? That's like my biggest takeaway, I think, is like, what is white even doing? And it seems like nothing, whereas black is like, I know what I'm doing. I know very clearly what I'm doing. I've got some weaknesses I'm going to target. And so then this whole series trading off the rook seemed weird to me at first, But it makes total sense that now we're piling up on this pawn. We're piling up with the pawn even more. And now that all the forces are like discombobulated and worried about that pawn, now we're going to push this pawn. And bammo. Boom. Instant resignation. So, I don't know. This was a pretty cool game. I feel like I'm learning a ton from Karpov's style. Like, his style is really cool in that, like, he's always got, like, one more subtlety than I would even dream of, right? Like, here, I would just be like, yeah, dude, we got it. Let's push the pawn. Like, it's time. But then the problem is like, oh, okay, like, yeah, it's good. I bet the computer's going to say it's great. Yeah, it's winning. But, oh, also this guy's hanging. I didn't even realize that was just straight up hanging. Interestingly enough, it gains nothing, but still, it was hanging. But it's just like everything falls apart. But Karpov's way, I was like, no, you don't even get that. Like, you didn't even get that. You get nothing. You get literal nothing. And here, it's even a way bigger lead. The move I would have made, we're winning. But there's counterplay. It's messy. And Karpov's like, no, I don't do messy. I don't do that. I make the perfect move, and now you're dead. So, interesting stuff for sure. I hope you enjoyed this game. It was Williams versus Karpov. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye, everybody.